which is an exciting time of year, and it's great to have all of our students back. And could really feel their energy the other night, and we're looking forward to that tomorrow, because as is the case, every game is such an important game because every team is so competitive. In case of Northwestern, I mean, they've already matched the number of wins that they had a year ago. They're only getting better. Now that Alex Ola is back, they're closer to full strength, and very, very dangerous. They very committed. They're a tough team, and you can just see it. You can see the toughness on offense with the way that they cut, with their screening. They don't turn it over much. They're very tough on defense, and their rebounding is outstanding. I think they lead the league right now in offensive rebounds, so they're getting to the glass, and they really work well together. They have very good spacing. There's no question Chris, we always felt he was going to be an excellent coach. And when I watch Chris coach, and his staff, I don't watch somebody that I consider a young coach. I watch somebody I consider a great coach. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. I think he may be younger in age, but he's certainly not younger in experience, and it shows in his team. And we've got to match that. I mean, they're a confident group. They're coming off a game the other night that are 1 or 2 bounces the other way. They beat Maryland at Maryland, and they know the pace of the game that they want to play at, and we have a lot of respect for their players. You know, Trey Dempsey is one of the harder matchups around. Brian McIntosh just continues to get better and better, and their front line play is excellent. Aaron Felzon shoots the ball at an extremely high rate from 3. Scotty Lindsey is you can't forget about him because he can cut, he can shoot, he can get rebounds. And Lumpkin is just, he's a glue guy. He's one of the better glue guys going because he cuts so hard and he gets people open. He's always on the offensive glass. He makes shots. So we've really, as we expected, we'll have our hands full with them, and our guys are excited to play. I know that. And we're excited to play at home. So go ahead.
Even if he's not fully healthy, how much does a lot change that the challenges?
Well, I think because he can score so well, because he's such a good post up, he can face up. He's a load because of the screen and roll game, and he's another guy that you've got to really account for on the offensive glass. And certainly we got to get the game going. You know, we've got to make sure that we're getting up and down, and at the same time, when they set their zone up, we can't become stagnant at all. So, because that allows him to be that much more in control. But they did a really nice job, you know, with Parton while he was out of him getting his confidence and playing well. So it changes it, and he's a bona fide Big Ten forward that's had a lot of high-scoring games in this league.
Tom, how much better can Troy get defensively? I mean, how much better can he get?
Well, I think our entire team can get better defensively. I think we work very hard at it. I think Troy's as committed as anybody else. I think that's the maturity of him. He's really grown to understand how much better A, he needs to get, B, he can get, and C, how daily a ritual it is to improve at all the little things. So to me, he's really engaged in that. And the thing about Troy right now is he knows there's room for improvement in all areas. We may point it out, we may spend time watching the film, but it's not like it's falling on deaf ears. I think it's pretty obvious. And so we keep trying to convince him that the strengths of his game are crucial, and to continue to build on those other things, so there's numerous strengths. And I think that's the mindset that he carries.
Not to, I guess, bite too hard into the year older, year stronger, more experienced, whatever, but what do you want these guys to take from the strong start they had in the league last year as they get into the teeth, as you talked about getting into the teeth of the league schedule?
I don't, we haven't covered last year, so that's irrelevant to us. They're all older, and it's just a matter of getting into the next game. You know, we barely even look at last year's films. Go ahead.
Just player development has been huge for this program. Even as a fifth-year senior, how much evolution have you seen in Max's game just from when he got here?
A ton. I mean, a ton. He's really bought into what he needed to get better at, and bought into what we felt he could get better at. And his footwork is certainly improving. He's getting a lot of confidence. He's gaining in athleticism. You know, we saw that in the summer. His vertical jump went up 5 inches. I know I've said that numerous times in the past, but his vertical jump went up 5 inches in the summertime. I mean, that's pretty extraordinary for anybody, let alone somebody 22, 23 years of age. So to me, he's enjoying himself. there's a lot of good basketball in front of him, and we need him to keep improving, certainly. But the thing that's really been good is his defense. I mean, the amount of deflections that he gets and how quick he is, those are some of the things maybe that we didn't see as much on the film or remember from him in the past. But really feeling like he could get better as an overall player, we felt like that, and he is.
Was there anything that you told him that he could get better at just by looking at him? Did any of it kind of, not surprise them, but was he even like, oh yeah, I can do that, like even the outside shooting?
Well, numerous things. I mean, there's numerous things. That was all part of it, but that was all part of the basis of wanting him here, you know, and him believing that we would help him do those things. It's a two-way street, right? I mean, you've got to be able to see it as a coach, and you've got to be determined to help him carry it out, but he's got to be the one that actually carries it out. And that's what we have, and that's the same thing with Nick Zeislov. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better. And percentages are really, to me, they're not nearly as relevant as selection, right? Like your shot selection and making sure that you're ready to shoot. And with us, I mean, we put a lot of detail into that, into our practices and into our films, and we expect it in the games, and they learn that's a big part of it, you know, with their foot placement and their hand placement, all the numerous things that go into it. So we're excited about Max's upside the rest of the season.
Tuesday, you mentioned, you know, looking back at the UNLV game and seeing how different Thomas Bryant was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what things are you seeing be different as the season goes on?
No, everything. I think his experience. I think it starts on the defensive end. Well, it really starts with his health and being able to practice at a high rate and sustain the ability to practice without being out of practice in the sense of having to monitor his minutes or things like that. You know, we certainly keep an eye on him because he's a freshman in the games, just as we did with Cody Zeller and with Noah Vonleh. But to me, the bottom line is that he really wants to get better. And I think, I mean, he had a three the other night. He shoots threes every day in practice. I mean, we don't put him under the basket when everybody else is working on three-point shooting. He does the same thing. So when you have that and you can keep getting better, same thing with the driving game, you know, the ball handling, and whether it's open court, whether it's on a catch and go, shot fake, you know, whatever it is. I mean, we want to work on those things constantly. Well, he's also defensively numerous times has to guard guards in practice. We do a 4-on-4 action where we go our forwards against our guards, and they have to get down and guard Yogi Ferrell or get down and guard Robert Johnson, and they in turn have got to turn around and guard him on the perimeter, and it really it helps them gain confidence. And so there's still a lot of upside for him to get better in all those areas this year, especially as he continues to get stronger, and he is getting stronger during the year. That's one area that we're doing a really good job of. I give Lionel Anderson and Stephen Houston a lot of credit on the way they're continuing to get the guys stronger during the season, and I think he's doing that. So Thomas will get a lot better.
Tom, this is maybe off topic here, but Jack Keefer, the Lawrence North coach, getting ready, they're going to honor him for, I think, naming Jim after him. I know, obviously, you know him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, what makes him a good coach?
You know what I've noticed about him? I didn't realize they were doing that. And I followed him for so long before I ever got to Indiana. Every time I've ever been to a 6:30 in the morning open gym, every time I've ever been to practice or watch him coach a game, he's been completely engaged in it. And when you've got the success that a guy like that has had, and you've had the players that he's had and the championships that he's had, to have that kind of passion and energy, and that kind of attention to detail, and that kind of intensity, really, that's what I guess what it is more than anything else. There's an intensity to him, and I think it's constant, and I think that's what great leaders have. They got to have it every day, and I've never walked in at one point and watched him play or saw a game on film or saw a practice and never saw a guy that was resting on his laurels or checking his rings. You know what I mean? I mean, he's making his guys better constantly. And the guys like Jack and Doug Mitchell's like that, and I'm sure there's others, I don't mean to miss people, but when you start talking about people that have been in that city for so long coaching, that's really strong. And whatever he's getting, he deserves it.
Yogi a few days ago said that he thinks the chemistry in this team is the best it's been since his freshman year. Do you see that as a coach?
That's I don't look at it that way. I mean, we just look at getting better every day. So I mean, that's the focus as much as anything else. I'm glad they feel like that, and I think It's just, to me, those things become exclamation points. The season's a dash, right? It's a dash right in the middle. You better keep moving, because the moment that you think you've hit a certain point is the moment it can leave you. So we're all just constantly into what's most important that day, which in the long range is the game, the next game that's there. But the most important thing is the level of practice and preparation, film work and conditioning and strength training and all that. So spend most of our time locked into that, and as coaches, spend most of our time locked into spending time with them and into the preparation. So we just want to keep getting better.
Okay, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.